Whenever you're creating videos, one of the most important and essential elements of any video besides audio is lighting. So whenever I started off on my creative journey, I didn't think too much about it. I just kind of thought just use the room lights or sunlight and I'm good to go. But after many videos and a lot of trial and error, I realized the importance of having good lighting and also understanding how this works, plus having the right tools to give viewers the best experience possible. And so today I'm going to be going over a lighting set that will really help you out, whether you're starting out or whether you're growing in your creative journey. Okay, so here's the box. Very simple, clean box. So as you can see there, Amaran 100x S and bicolor, so from 2700 Kelvin all the way up to 6500 Kelvin. So this is like daylight and this is more of a tungsten color. So this is going to be important, especially for people who need that type of stuff. So I kind of figured this would be a good thing to have, to be able to change the color instead of just having daylight color only. And the rest of the package on the outside, very simple, but all I have to do is remove this and we'll go ahead and see what's inside the box. So as you can see there, foam cover, some stuff from Aputure as you can see here, and it talks about the Link app, which will be important for those people who want to use the app. So we'll just remove this foam here and there it is. Wow, so it's bigger than I thought actually, or maybe because of this reflector here. So here is the power adapter, and it also has a little I guess hook that you could just lay this on your tripod and hang it there, which is nice. And there's the input, and then over here is the other part of the adapter. And what's nice is it has this locking mechanism right there. So once you plug this into your adapter, it locks so it doesn't come loose, especially if you were to accidentally, trip over a wire or something. So that's really nice. And then here is the Amaran 100x itself. Okay. So there is the Amaran 100x. Okay, so here we are. And this is the Bowen's mounts reflector. So let me see, we're gonna have to remove this. There it is. Okay, you want to be careful with that, but there it is. It has this foam thing here, and there is a plastic cover to actually help protect the actual light itself. So man, this feels really solid, and this is in their budget line, so I wouldn't expect this to be all metal or anything like that, but this part is hard plastic, it seems. And this part right here, this seems where the metallic part is, where you're gonna put this on your tripod. And yeah, and then looking around, there is your color controls right here. And this is the intensity, so the percentage. And this, since this is a bicolor versus the daylight only, you can adjust the color temperature. Really easy to control here. And that's where you put in your power plug. And great thing is you could turn this off physically, on and off. I'm seeing somewhere you can't do that. So it's nice that they have that. And there's a Bluetooth as well. So you can use this if you want to use the Sidus app, which I think will be beneficial for people, especially if they are going to be using this with multiple Aputure or Amaran light products. And that's it right there. And yeah, overall, I think this is a nice design, very simple. All your main controls are here. And I think they put the quality in where it makes the most sense, mainly in where it's gonna be on your stand or tripod mount, and then also at the same time the handle. Even though it is plastic, I think overall this is solid feeling. Okay, so before you use this, you do need to remove this protective cover. And there is like a metal latch here, so you're supposed to turn this, but the thing is there is this piece of metal here that blocks it. So what you need to do is move this right here, move it to the back, and then you could remove the protective cover, and there it is. And I stated a little bit earlier, this is bi-color. So once you have that removed, you can put in your Bowens mount accessories. So in this case, if you just wanted to use the default reflector, you can put this in here, and then it just kind of like locks in, okay? Or in my case, I'm actually going to be using a soft box, or you could put some other, you know, diffuser elements. And the fact that it does use a bone mount, meaning that it's going to be more universal and work with many other accessories and not just necessarily for the Aputure or Amaran brand. So that's how you have that set up, and then you're going to have to put it on the mount and get this plugged in, and you should be ready to go. So really easy and simple to get set up. So as you can see, setting this up is really simple. You just plug everything in, and your mount here, this should go into a standard tripod, and you just gotta be really careful to not over tighten this. And this right here will allow you to adjust it up and down as needed, but you want to be careful not to over tighten this. And also, if you have an inexpensive stand, you want to be really careful because you could definitely tip this over. So if you have a heavier stand or a C stand, that is more preferred. But at least for me, this stand it's good enough, and I'm not going to be moving this around very much at all. And then going back to what I said earlier, this plug right here, it's nice that they have this locking mechanism right there, so then if you happen to trip over it, it doesn't unplug it, and it has this nice hook as well where you could just put that on your tripod. And another nice feature is if you did want to use an umbrella, there is a spot for that you can use. Okay, so here I want to show you some examples of how bright this could get. So right now I have it at 20% at 2700 Kelvin, so let me see how low it could go. Okay, we're going all the way down to 0%, so that's a good thing. You can go all the way down. So let's go ahead and move that up to 100%. So depending upon your room size and, you know, how much light you really need, it's gonna really vary, but I don't think you're ever gonna really need to go up to 100% unless you wanted to use this outside or in a much larger room. So as you can see, it is getting pretty bright. And we'll go all the way up to 100%, so you could kind of get an idea of how bright this thing gets. Yeah, that is really bright. As you could probably tell, that's kind of like blinding bright. And so now we'll do something similar, but this time I'm going to have it at the max color temperature of 6500 Kelvin. So from 0%, we're going to go all the way up to 100%. And it is super duper bright. And this one's going to be closer to daylight, so it is going to be a lot brighter at this color temperature. So as you can see there, just really crazy bright. And yeah, so I think for most people who are going to be using this for YouTube or in a small room, I think this is going to be more than enough light. But obviously this will change once you put in diffusers, you know, reflectors and so forth. But this is just without anything on the actual light itself. Now there's also some presets as well, which will allow you to quickly go to different settings. For example, the color temperature, if you push this down, there's some presets for 3200, 4300, 5600, and then all the way to the max 6500. And then similarly for the intensity, you can actually do that as well. It goes by 20% increments, as you can see here. So that makes it really easy for you to just cycle through this without having to take a long time turning a knob. And one other thing is, if you're wondering what does the S stand for, 100XS, well, this is like the second iteration. Originally it was just the 100X, and the S models have an improved LED chipset, improving the overall color and quality of the lights. And so those are some hidden features that you might not know exist. Okay, so here's how it looks like in the front, and I have it at 20% at 5400 Kelvin. And now if you put something like this reflector, and then later on I'll have a softbox on there, you could kind of see the difference. But yeah, there it just locks, and then that's how it looks like once you get this default reflector on there. And I'm going to do some lighting tests just to show you some real world examples of how this could look like in your setup. Okay, so here is the Siteground Link app. Now, whenever you install this and open up for the first time, it will ask you whether or not you want to log in with an account or set up one that requires an email, but there's also a guest mode. So I'm going to try the guest mode first because I don't want to set up an account just to use this app. So once you're here, you see a demo scene and all these scenes. So I'm going to go here to scene 1. and I have to make sure that my Bluetooth and location is on. Then there's these three dots, and then you can actually go to the scene and there's a plus symbol. Now before you do that, you need to make sure that the Bluetooth is paired. So here on the Amaran, there's a BT reset or Bluetooth reset. You hold that down, and then when it gets to 100%, it should be visible. You go to this new fixtures, go to the plus sign, and there should be the model, and this says Amaran 100x right there. I'll choose that. Great, now it's set up. And if I go here to the Amaran, let me see, this is my first time using it, so it's, oh cool. So here's all the controls. All right, and it works. So that's all you need to do to set up the Sidus Link app. And you could do this without logging in, which is a great thing. So it does allow you to go into guest mode. So really nice. Okay, so as you could probably tell, things are really dark. And let me go ahead and increase this. So as you can see right now, the only light source I have is my computer and keyboard. So we're gonna go ahead and go up to 8%. This is at 8%. And at this point, this is just purely the light itself, meaning that there's no type of reflector or anything on here. So I'm trying to get it to 8%. It's gonna have to be pretty precise. So this is at 8%. And also at the same time, there's also other controls here with the Sidus app. So I could go to a quarter, which is 25%, half, 50%, and then full. Wow, that is just absolutely crazy bright. And as you can see, even at 25%, this is a lot of light. And my current color temperature right now is at 5400 Kelvin, but there are some presets here as well. This is 3200 Kelvin. This is 4000 Kelvin. And then this is 5600 Kelvin. And then I could go to the max if I want. This is at 6500 Kelvin. So I could go back down here. And this actually matches my camera setting right now in terms of the color temperature. So in terms of what I have with my camera right now, I have it at f3.5 for the f-stop or aperture. I have my shutter speed of 1/50. I am shooting this at 24 frames per second. My ISO is at 2000 and my color temperature is at 5400 Kelvin. And as I mentioned a bit earlier, this is how things look like without a reflector. And the light itself is not too close, like it's not arm's length, it's maybe a little bit further. I don't know how to explain that to you, but basically it's not super close. But as you can tell, man, this is really, really bright. And for most people, I definitely don't recommend not using some type of reflector or softbox unless this was a look that you're going for. But this kind of gives you an idea of how powerful this light is whenever you are in a small room. So now that we're seeing how things look like with just purely the light bare, let's go ahead and put this reflector on and see if it makes a difference. Okay, so we're doing the same test again, but this time I do have the reflector on, so it's at 0%. Let's go ahead and bring it back up to 8% again. And my color temperature is the same as it was before, 5400 Kelvin. And as you can see here, this is still really bright. So this is with the reflector on. And let me show you how things look like whenever we change the color temperature. So obviously, whenever you have it at a warmer color temperature, it's not quite as intense as if you were gonna go higher to a cooler temperature, more daylight settings. And so this is how things look like here. And once again, you know, unless there was a certain look you were going for, this might not be the best look for you, okay? But there might be instances where you just want to use reflector. For example, if you want to show some really harsh, you know, like shadow and stuff, and that's the type of look that you're going for whatever reason, then this might be a case where just using this with the reflector alone might work. But at least for me, this is definitely not a look that I would be going for, probably ever, but who knows, I might want to do that. But that kind of gives you an idea of how things look like. And now we're going to go ahead and move over to what most people would use this for, and that's basically with a softbox, okay, which is going to make the light a lot more pleasing, and it's going to look a lot better than it does now instead of being blindingly bright. And let me just go ahead and play around with this one more time to show you how bright this can get. So this is at 8%, we're now at 25%, 50%, and this is full blast 100%. Yeah, that is absolutely nuts. So hopefully if you are thinking whether or not if whether or not this is going to be enough light for you, then you could probably tell that I think for most people out there, especially if you're in a small room, that this is going to be more than enough for most people. And now let's go ahead and see how this looks like with a proper softbox on here. So for my softbox, I got the Aputure Light Dome Mini 3. Now Aputure also owns Amaran, so I really do like the quality of their products. And the reason I got the Mini versus the regular is, first and foremost, this is less expensive. But also for smaller rooms like what I have, this is going to be more than enough. And if I did want softer lighting overall and more coverage, then I would get the larger one. But I think for a lot of people out there who do have a smaller room, this is a really great softbox. Okay, so this is how things look like at 17% intensity. So the same as what we had before. And I'm not too far, but not too close away from the light as well. And right now it is dark. It's kind of hard to see, at least I'm looking at the screen. So it is underexposed right now on my camera. So what I am going to do is increase the intensity. So this is at 25%, and that is definitely brighter. But if I go up a little bit more, it gets even brighter. And I'm looking at my camera, and right now it is still underexposed, but I think it's gonna get too bright if I keep going up. So this is like at 60%. Wow, that's pretty bright. And then if I go all the way up to 100%, that's how it looks like. Definitely too bright. Now the grid does help in the sense that, you know, it doesn't let all the light spill behind your background. And this is just a first test, so obviously I'm gonna have to play around with this and then see what lighting intensity, color temperature, and also position works well. And I also have some other lights as well, accent lights, that will make this look better. And normally you're gonna use this as your key light, okay? So if this is your main light, it's gonna come here on the right, or maybe in the middle, but for most people it's gonna be on the right. And I'll show you that a little bit later, how the positioning of your lights makes a difference. Okay, so there's also some additional effects that are built in that you can use through the Siteground app. So let me show you some of these. So the first one is strobe. Yeah, that's absolutely hurts my eyes. Okay, now we're gonna go to another one. This is explosion. And there's different types of explosions. Okay, then here we have fire. So it does change the color temperature from daylight over to something a little bit warmer. Next up we have paparazzi. Yep, really famous now, great. And now we have fireworks. Yeah, that wasn't too cool. Okay. All right, now we have faulty bulb. I thought it would be flickering or something, but nope. Oh, there it is. There's the flickering for faulty bulb. Now we have lightning. Okay. Kind of similar to strobe, but not as intense. Okay, now we have TV. I don't know what it's supposed to do. Okay, it's changing color temperature slightly. Okay. And then finally we have pulsing. All right. So here's more of a complete setup, and in general I am using the really popular 3-point setup where I have my key light over here, I have a fill light on the left, and then I have some accent lights and also kind of like a rim light in the back. And all of these things will enhance the overall look of your videos, and by utilizing this light with the grid, it just makes it look so much better. And so this is kind of what you could get in a small room with this type of setup. Now when it comes to the noise levels, I really can't hear anything at all. It's currently at 7% intensity, so I'll let you listen to it to see if you could hear anything. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and increase the intensity by different increments. So now it's at 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, and now it's at 100% intensity. So I'll let you go ahead and listen to it. And for me, even at 100% intensity, I can't hear anything. But maybe if you run this a lot longer, maybe if it actually heats up, you might hear the fans kick in. But at least for me, I don't think you have to worry about this being loud or noisy whenever you are using it. So that is my review on the Amaran 100XS bi-color light. I think this is more than enough for the vast majority of creators out there. And for me, I pretty much have this at 7 or 8% intensity, which is what I'm using right now. And I really have no complaints there. About the only cons that I would say with the light isn't with the light itself, it's really with the controls. Now, I think having something like this Sidus app gives you a lot of powerful features, but I'm not a really big fan of having controls tied to your phone and having to do things through Bluetooth. But instead, I would prefer something like a physical control. And before, they did come with the physical control for this, but it would be nice for them to release this or give an option to have the physical control and also use the Sidus app as well, instead of being tied only to a phone app. So that's about the only complaint. I think for some people, they'll be okay with that, but that for me is a pain. But other than that, this is a really awesome light. So if you're looking for a high quality light that's fairly affordable, but also gives great output in 2 different colors, then the Amaran 100XS is a really wonderful option. And if you did want to get this and support my channel, I will leave an affiliate link in the description area below. And if you actually had any thoughts on this light or any other lights that you like using, be sure to leave that in the comments area as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on another episode. Hey geeks, if you are a brand new creator and you simply want something easy to get you started, well, I got something for you with my Creator Starter Kit. This is a super simple step-by-step guide that's going to take you from having no channel to developing your very first YouTube channel, along with ideas, thumbnail designs, and other creator tips, including marketing. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and get started creating.